Well, let me ask you a question. You got a legion of young men that are following you now, and you're teaching them basically how to be men.
Yeah.
Right? You think this is what they're after you for?
I think that's primarily why they're after me, yes. I think that's what they're afraid of. I would argue that if I was in charge of a government, my number one concern would be psy-opping the masculine youth, because that's the revolution. If women get angry, that's fine. But it's eventually going to come down to men being angry because the world comes down to violence. So they have to try very hard to psy-op the masculine youth to, one, not cause a revolution, and two, the masculine youth have the worst life. I would argue that young men today have a worse life than even young women, and they have all of their own problems. I'm not saying their problems don't exist. But for the average young man today, women expect him to be a millionaire at 20, which he isn't. Nobody gives a shit about his opinion at all. He can kill himself, nobody cares. He isn't born with any innate value because he's not beautiful like a woman is. So he has to build himself from the ground up. He has no teachers in any way. No one really to teach him. There's people like us on the internet, fine, but everyone around him is going to convince him that we're bad people. Everything he's being told in regards to his natural feelings, his natural instincts and inclinations, he's being told makes him a bad person, makes him toxic for feeling like a man in any way. It's very hard to be a young man today, and they feel disenfranchised with the system. So they find solutions. The human mind looks for solutions. They start listening to me, and they go, oh, I feel better if I do this. I feel better if I go to the gym. I feel better if I start to take responsibility and take accountability. And I feel better if I'm not afraid of pain anymore. I feel better if I'm not afraid of suffering. I feel better if I understand that I'm supposed to suffer, that that's what's going to make me the best person that I could possibly be, that my youth is supposed to be spent doing difficult things so that I have the light and the dark. They find me and they start to feel a certain way about it. And then they reject the matrix programming. And before you know it, which was even a surprise to me, what I said earlier on today, I'm being discussed in Parliament as a national security threat because the masculine youth don't want to listen to the garbage they're being told anymore. And it's all my fault. And then you get down to a really crazy level, a real scary level, because once you're a national security threat, all bets are off at that point.